What's up, my financially intentional people? Welcome to our Tuesday episode. This one is going to be short as we round out Memorial Day weekend. I'm just now realizing I have a whole bunch of baby drool all over me, but that's neither here nor there. I was getting a lot of love for the baby from the baby before she went to sleep. So, on today's episode, I wanted to talk about changing your circle of influence. And I bring this up because a lot of people always ask me about my journey to financial independence. And they're like, they want the steps. They want like this roadmap that they can follow. And while there is a roadmap, the most important thing that I tell people is that they need to believe that financial independence and what it looks like is possible for them. And the best way to do that is to change your circle of influence. And I remember when I was really getting into the space of reading more self-help books and listening to podcasts, I used to hear that all the time. I used to hear people say, change your circle of influence. And I remember thinking, how do I do that? I work a lot. I've had my friends since middle school, most of them. What does it mean to change my circle of influence? And how does that look like? I was like, oh, maybe I'll join some meetups and try to be around like-minded people. That didn't really work out. But what really did work for me was once I started sharing my journey on my own platform, it allowed me the opportunity to curate my social media, because it's a brand new page, to curate my social media to people that I aspired to be, that I wanted to follow their journeys. And eventually those people that I followed on different pods, so I would hear them on different podcasts or I would see them on social media just because the algorithm was feeding me their post. We eventually became friends, like really good friends. Like we hang out, go on vacation, go to different events together, go to each other's houses. Like they became my really good friends. And because I had those people as role models, I attribute my success to that. So how does that look like in practice? So when I started on my journey, I started listening to a lot of personal finance podcasts. It started with Dave Ramsey, but after I stopped listening to Dave Ramsey so much, I started listening to His and Her Money and Jamila Superfront. We became friends online, and then she started her podcast. So I was listening to that since day one. Clever Girl Finance by Bola Sokombe. I started listening to her podcast. Hillary Hendershot. I started listening to her podcast. And eventually I started actually being really good friends with those people. So Bola Sokombe put me on Clever Girl Finance. I was actually in one of her first books. And I shared my journey, and I was sharing my journey as I was going on the journey. I hadn't even accomplished my big debt payoff, but I had still made massive strides in paying off debt. From just being friends on Instagram, I went on Jamila's podcast and met a lot of people through that. Hillary Hendershot, I was listening to her podcast, and then I realized she was having like an event in San Jose. And I was just like, she's in San Jose. She's right there. How can we not be friends? And so ended up going to one of her events and then ended up being in one of her mastermind groups. And we became really good friends. And those people, and seeing what they did on a daily basis and them being the people that surrounded me, changed my trajectory. So I always encourage people, if you really want to make changes, change your circle of influence. That does not mean get rid of your old friends. It just means aspire to be in the presence of people who have achieved the things that you want to achieve. So in practice, how does that look? If you want to be on this personal finance journey, okay, great. You're listening to the podcast. Start following the guests that are on this podcast. I have tons of my guests. That's another way I make friends. Like, this podcast has helped me do that. If there's somebody that is really inspiring to me, I invite them to be on the podcast. I might have read their book. I might have seen them or heard them on different podcasts. I invite them to come on, and I learn so much from them. And then if we vibe, we become friends. Rich and Regular is another couple. I love them. Like, they are great. Been to their house in Atlanta, break bread with them all the time. They came out here. I was on their show Money on the Table when they were traveling. Like that. So let me go back to breaking down. If you are on this personal finance journey and don't really know how to change your circle of influence, here are some ways. Again, if you're listening to this podcast, start following and DMing or engaging in the content of the people that come on this platform. I often post my favorite books and my favorite podcasts. I will post those posts on in the show notes, but start listening to those podcasts, start reading those books, start engaging with those people's content and getting close to them. And you're not going to click with everybody. Heck, you might not click with me, but there's somebody that you can really click with and really start engaging with and getting more inspiration for them. So my biggest thing, again, if you really want to affect your personal finances in a positive way, change your circle of influence. I'm just thinking about all the other people. Jackie Kamenkowski, the one who wrote Fire for Dummies, like we're really good friends. We hang out, we kick it whenever we go to conferences. Aquania Escarne, like these are my good friends. And these are just friends that I've met just being online and engaging with them. I encourage you to follow all those people. I encourage you to go back through the podcast and people that you really relate to, reach out to them, DM them. If you even want any suggestions of people that you should follow or any good books or podcasts that, again, I'm going to share the list, but reach out to me. I'll slide that information to you. I'll link you up with people, but don't be creepy, obviously. But if you are genuine about your interactions with people, you'll be surprised how open people are into receiving you into their circles and so that you can learn from them. I remember even Myleik Teele. I didn't even know about Myleik Teele, and she's one of my favorite people, period. Like the most influential person to me. And she's just a couple years older than me. Shout out to Myleik. We have the same birthday, but she turned 45 this year and I turned 43. But I was just like, man, she's from Inglewood. My first condo I bought was in Inglewood. I lived in Inglewood for a long time. She went to school in San Francisco. I should know her. How come I don't know her? Started listening to her podcast, started engaging with her content. And when she opened up spots to go on her retreat, I was there. I got to go on her very first retreat, got to go on a second retreat, and then started engaging in her mom's group. And so I consider her as part of my circle because she's a resource that I can reach out to. But these are just examples of how you expand your circle of influence to people that you aspire to, which makes this journey a lot more attainable for you. So if you're ever curious, like I was, about how to change your circle of influence, those are some good tips. Hit me up if you found this useful. If you want to hear more, or if you want me to connect you with somebody, hit me up. I love to share.